Hey, look at that. We got some color.
Woohoo!
So a lot better than that white out there. So this is Gerard Crimson. We were able to, get quite a few of these. Plus, we brought some in. I like Gerard's Crimson for its color. It's a fairly tough azalea for our environment. Even though it's listed as a zone 5, it does better in a little more of a protected area. I would definitely say that azaleas in general, they like partial shade a little bit, but they tend not to do real well in full shade. They get real stretchy and leggy. So, when we're growing them, we grow them in full sun in the nursery, but whenever we transplant them or put them through any kind of, transplant shock, we tend to put shade on the house for several weeks just to give them a little bit of boost. So we're getting down there. There's still azaleas available. We got 350 of these. Make sure you start booking them up here. Talk to people about them. What little bit of availability we have. I haven't seen a whole lot of availability out there on azaleas in general. Pretty much everybody is sold out. So we wanted to show you, we still have some room for something color, something garden center oriented spring. We don't really like to ship these early. So, we don't want to be pushing these on March trucks. And if anybody does take them early, they're going to have to take care of them by protecting them. So you don't want to put them in an environment where they're going to get heat, because if you do that, they're going to break. The flower bud's it's going to bloom, and it's going to bloom. You can get this thing to bloom in early April if you're not careful. So the trick is to keep them protected. Try not to let them go below freezing, but yet again, have an environment where you can keep it as cold as you can too. So as close to those mid-30s as you can maintain them, that will push that bloom off as late as possible. So they're popping right at Mother's Day, when I think most people want them to. All right, hydrangea confetti. We've brought this one online. This is a newer one for us. It gets a really big flower. You can see there on the right. It kind of has that pastel-y pink color, and white, and then fades a little bit. It's definitely a lighter pink for most of the time. I did notice, some of the blooms will get a little darker as it goes on. It's a great one for cut flowers. That seems to be getting more and more popular. I've seen people decorate Christmas trees with them now. So they dry them and spray them. So that seems to be getting more and more popular. It has excellent stems, real thick, so it keeps that bloom up in the air, and it presents its bloom above the foliage, which we like. So we've really been pushing towards varieties that can do this and that are really showy. So, and it's tough. It's a tough hydrangea. It's a full zone 4. Breeding's coming out of Canada on this one. So, feel real safe for all of our areas, upper Michigan and Chicago areas and all in through there. So give it a try. Blue Maid, a little bit different. It is listed as a zone 5. You have to be a little bit careful with the Blue Maid holly. It can get a little bit of desiccation in the winter, wind burn. It's not so much a temperature threshold as it is. This plant tends to be active all year long, and if you get an environment where the root system freezes hard, and then you get some wind, that leaf desiccates, and that's where you get the burn. So it's best to protect them a little bit from the wind if you're in northern climates. Blue Maid is unique because of its real glossy foliage. It really stands out in the group of Manservia holly. It's fairly tolerant. It can tolerate a kind of a wide range of soils, which is kind of neat. It's aggressive enough root system to handle that. So We got a little over 1,000 of those available. You can see there the size is great on them. We're well over spec. So, Ilex, Goblin Orange and Goblin Guy. We don't have a whole lot of Goblin Orange. We have a few available, and then we have the Goblin Guy available. But it seems to be that verticillatas are in higher demand right now. We've had pretty good sell-through. So we just wanted to show you, we still have, a plant in that program that has a great big orange berry. It's a real showy plant. It is in the Proven Winners program, and it's very tough. Verticillatas are extremely tough. They're go all the way up into zone 3s. So yeah, there's been some questions over the last several weeks about availability. So maybe steer towards that. I know it's not a red berry, it's an orange berry, but you got a nice plant that's compact and it's in that program. Juniper Hetz columnaris. So we just want to talk about this a little bit. It seems like uprights are in high demand right now. So especially in the 7s, it looks like there's some shortages out there. So we just want to keep talking about it because we still have some availability. We have 350 plus available. That is the crop there. That was a late fall photo just before we covered. Hetz columnaris has been around for a very long time. We definitely grow it in pot and pot. It's a plant also that takes water throughout the winter, so it's important that they stay hydrated. So for storage notes for anybody starting to bring them in March, if they definitely take them into a kind of a covered environment, they're really going to have to watch the water close because even though they're not actively growing where you can see it, they still use a lot of water. Fat Albert, so we'll switch to the field here. That was, I don't know, between one of the snowstorms.
It was. I took it Monday.
So don't be fooled with that little bit of white on the, that's just some snow blown up on it. So, but it shows you the size there. And we do some trimming, so we keep them nice and uniform. We still have availability out there. Not a lot of 60s left. I don't know. Was there bigger sizes left, Cheryl?
Just a few small.
There's still some opportunities there. So, with digging, I've said this before, but we'll start looking at digging around the 20th of March coming up here. So you still got some time to get your orders in. And we got some great plants still out there. We got some nice pines and spruce, weepers available. Nice, ready to go, A grade. So go ahead and go to the Parviflora glauca. So yeah, that more shows you that was later in the season last year. Parviflora glauca tends to be very open in its growing pattern. We do trim it quite a bit to help fill it in, but it naturally is a real open grower. So people have to really understand what they're buying. Parviflora glauca, it has that great color on the foliage. Its needles kind of curl in. It's got a blue cone. So when the pine cone starts to come out, it's blue. So they're very striking when they first come out. And then as they open, they turn brown and look more like a normal pine cone. But it's kind of unique where it gets that bluish cone when it forms in the summer. So it really draws your eye to it. And it's more of a specimen type of plant. So as it gets older, it has this layered effect, layered growth. So, but we try to trim them up to get them to fill out a little better, to make them look like something a little more attractive in the sizes that we grow. So we got 70 of those available. Strobus fastigiata. This is just a pure upright white pine. So It's very narrow in its growth, vigorous upright. It really gets up there in height, 40 feet plus in some cases. So it's excellent for larger areas, windbreaks, if you want that kind of look where it's more upright. And just in general, it grows just like a white pine. It's very shallow rooter. So it does not have a taproot or anything like that. So these tend to be very shallow rooters, and you have to think about that. So if you're planting these in a heavily wind exposed area, a shallow rooter can sometimes tend to not hold up so well. So that's where sometimes pines aren't always the best choice. But for most areas, this plant will do well. It can go either as a specimen plant or just kind of mixed in, or you can make large hedges out of it. So the crops that we have are extremely consistent. We do a lot of trimming on them to keep them in good shape, and we have 78. Okay, so last one we want to show you is this is pot and pot. If you look real close, you can see the pot in there. We wanted to show Schmargards. It seems like uprights again, from my last comment, are real short on the market, especially as you start getting into bigger sizes. So we do have 2,500 of these available. We have another crop right on its heels. Cheryl and I were talking about that this morning. Should be ready to jump right into that crop by the end of May or June. We're looking pretty seamless on our 15-gallon Schmargards. We'll have some more green giants coming online sometime in June there as well. That might be more towards the 15th because we stripped into those pretty hard, but we still have a real big number there too coming online for that re-wholesale landscape market. So, we just wanted to show you the quality, the size. I'm not seeing these anywhere available. So this is also a good plant to keep talking about, especially, with that re-wholesaler landscaper as they start getting in here, hopefully over the next month, and start thinking about getting geared up. This may be some of the first plants they want to land on their lots. So, yeah, and 2,500 is a real nice number to be working on. So.